How often do you find yourself questioning why life feels so heavy? Why the whispers of doubt and the sting of mockery seem so relentless? The laughter of others echoes louder than your own inner voice, and their judgment weighs on your soul like a shadow you can't escape. Yet, deep down, a fire burns, a quiet but unyielding belief that your story is not over. That despite the noise, the betrayal, and the obstacles, there is a purpose greater than the pain, a destiny waiting to be fulfilled. You've been ridiculed, doubted, and dismissed. The world has tried to define you by your lowest moments, while those who underestimated you watched with a smirk, certain that you would never rise. But here's the truth: they were wrong. The trials you've endured, the silent battles you've fought, and the tears you've shed in solitude were never wasted. They were the foundation of something extraordinary, a transformation that the world cannot yet see but will one day be undeniable. This journey is not about proving them wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you were right all along, that within you lies a resilience, a strength, and a purpose that no amount of doubt or mockery can extinguish. The challenges you've faced are not setbacks. They are setups for a breakthrough so powerful it will rewrite the narrative they tried to create about you. Over the course of this message, we'll explore 6 profound truths that will not only shift your perspective, but also empower you to rise above the noise. 1. The power of mockery and faith. How ridicule becomes the soil where your strength takes root. 2. Silence is strategy, not surrender. Why your stillness is the ultimate preparation for greatness. 3. The power of your comeback, transforming pain into purpose and loss into legacy. 4. Forgiveness. They don't deserve it, but you deserve peace, releasing the weight of betrayal to reclaim your freedom. 5. Resilience is rewarded, not deceit. How enduring with integrity always outlasts shortcuts and manipulation. Justice always finds its moment. Why the universe or God's plan ensures balance, even when it feels delayed. Each of these truths serves as a reminder that you are not defined by the opinions of others or the weight of your circumstances. Instead, you are being refined, strengthened, and prepared for something extraordinary. This is not just a message of hope, it's a call to action, a declaration that your life is more than the sum of its struggles, that no matter how deep the valley, how loud the critics, or how heavy the burden, you have the power to rise above it all. Let this be the beginning of your transformation, the moment you stop listening to the noise and start stepping boldly into your purpose. Are you ready to rise? Let's begin. Part 1. The power of mockery and faith. How often do we find ourselves burdened by the sting of mockery, the weight of whispers behind our backs, and the crushing blows of those who doubt us? Their laughter becomes an anthem of scorn, and their doubts feel like a prison. For many, these moments of ridicule serve as barriers, seemingly insurmountable obstacles that hold them back from pursuing their dreams. But what if these very experiences of mockery and doubt are, in fact, the fire that refines us? What if the pain inflicted by others is not a sign of weakness, but rather a mark of divine preparation? Throughout history, great stories have been built upon this theme of triumph over scorn. Take the story of Joseph from the book of Genesis. His own brothers mocked him and called him a dreamer, plotting his downfall. Their jealousy led them to sell him into slavery, thinking this act would end his destiny. Little did they know that this betrayal would serve as the catalyst for Joseph's rise. Through years of hardship, he was not diminished but elevated. Eventually, he stood before his brothers as a ruler, his power undeniable, his dreams fulfilled. Their mockery became the very backdrop against which God's purpose for Joseph unfolded. The story of David and Goliath offers another profound example. A young shepherd boy with nothing but a sling and stones stood before a giant warrior who laughed at him. To the world, David was insignificant, an easy target for mockery. Yet what Goliath and the spectators failed to see was the power of God that stood with David. One stone, guided by divine hands, brought the mighty Goliath to his knees. What appeared weak to the world was, in reality, a manifestation of divine strength. David's victory wasn't just a personal triumph. It was a testament to the transformative power of faith. Mockery often stems from fear. fear of what others cannot understand or control. When people ridicule your struggles, they are not simply dismissing you. They are revealing their inability to grasp your strength and potential. They see only the surface, your struggles, your failures, your silence. They mistake your quiet perseverance for weakness. They cannot comprehend the work that God is doing beneath it all, refining you, strengthening you, and preparing you for a breakthrough. This message is a reminder to anyone who has felt the sting of mockery and the weight of doubt. God sees you. Every insult, every sneer, and every dismissive glance has been noted. But these moments of humiliation are not meant to break you. They are tools of transformation. Think of them as chisels in the hands of a master sculptor, carving away what is unnecessary to reveal the masterpiece within. Faith teaches us that our struggles are not in vain. They are the soil in which resilience grows, the furnace in which our character is forged. Isaiah 54 verse 17 declares that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Those who mock you cannot thwart God's plan for your life. They can only serve as unwitting contributors to your story of triumph. Their laughter, their scorn, it is all part of the narrative that will one day showcase your resilience and God's glory. In moments of doubt, when mockery feels overwhelming, consider this. The world often mocks what it does not understand. People laughed at the Wright brothers for their belief that humans could fly. They scoffed at inventors, pioneers, and dreamers throughout history. Yet, these same dreamers turned the world's scorn into milestones of progress. What if your story is no different? What if the mockery you endure today is a precursor to a future so extraordinary that it will leave your doubters speechless? Faith is the cornerstone of this transformation. Believing that God has a plan for you, even when the world doubts you, is an act of courage. Faith empowers you to stand firm in the face of ridicule, to press on when others think you should quit, and to trust that every struggle serves a greater purpose. Remember, mockery does not define you. It refines you. It is not a verdict on your worth, but a testament to the strength others see in you, even if they cannot admit it. As you navigate these challenges, take heart in the knowledge that you are not alone. Countless others have faced the sting of mockery and risen above it. Like Joseph, David, and so many others, you have been chosen for something greater. The path may be difficult, the ridicule unrelenting, but every step you take is a step closer to fulfilling your destiny. This is a call to stand tall in the face of doubt and scorn. Do not let the laughter of others drown out the voice within you that says, "Keep going." Their doubts are not your reality. Their scorn is not your truth. God's plan for you is far greater than their limited understanding. Let this be a declaration. No amount of mockery or doubt can extinguish the fire within you. The very things that others use to tear you down will become the foundation upon which you build a life of purpose and victory. You are not defined by their laughter. You are defined by your resilience, your faith, and the divine purpose that guides you. As you continue your journey, remember this truth. The sting of mockery may be painful, but it is temporary. The triumph that follows, born of faith and perseverance, is eternal. So, stand firm, chosen one. Your story is not over. It is just beginning. The very people who mock you today will one day marvel at the strength you have gained, the victories you have achieved, and the extraordinary life you have built. And when that day comes, their laughter will fade into irrelevance, replaced by the undeniable truth of your success. Part 2. Silence is strategy, not surrender. There is a profound misconception in the world about silence. To many, it is seen as a sign of surrender, a lack of resistance, or worse, a quiet admission of defeat. Yet, nothing could be further from the truth. Silence, when embraced with purpose, is a strategy, a period of preparation, reflection, and transformation. It is in the stillness that the greatest breakthroughs are born, and the most unshakable strength is cultivated. Think about the moments in your life when you felt misunderstood or underestimated. People often confuse your stillness for stagnation, your quietness for weakness. They cannot see the storms you endure, the battles you fight behind closed doors, and the strength you build in solitude. What they perceive as inaction is, in fact, an intense period of internal work. a sacred space where growth and transformation occur without the need for applause or validation. The story of David exemplifies the power of silent preparation. Before he became king, David spent years in the wilderness, running from Saul, who sought to kill him, to the outside world. It may have seemed like David was cornered, a man on the run with no future. But what the world did not see was how God was shaping him during those years of exile. David was learning resilience, patience, and reliance on God's guidance. His stillness was not surrender. It was preparation for the throne. Similarly, your stillness is not a sign of defeat. It is a sign that something extraordinary is being built within you. In those moments when you feel overlooked or dismissed, remind yourself that you are not stagnant. You are being shaped, refined, and strengthened for a purpose far greater than anyone around you can comprehend. Your silence is your strategy. The silent struggle is one of the most profound tests of character. It is in these moments, when no one is watching, that the true work begins. The world doesn't see the tears you shed in private, the prayers you whisper into the void, or the countless times you summon the strength to rise again after being knocked down. Yet, these silent battles are where your greatest victories are forged. Take Job, for example. When he faced unimaginable suffering, his friends accused him of wrongdoing, dismissing his pain as the result of sin. Their words stung, but Job remained steadfast. He endured the silence, the loneliness, and the weight of judgment. What his friends failed to understand was that Job's suffering was not a punishment but a test of his faith. In the end, God restored Job's fortunes and blessed him abundantly, proving that the silent struggle is never in vain. Your silence, too, is not wasted. Every tear you've cried, every insult you've endured, and every moment of loneliness has been seen by God. The world may overlook your pain, but the Creator does not. Each of these moments is part of the process of transformation, a necessary step on the path to greatness. Stillness is also a time for strategy. Like a warrior preparing for battle, you use this period to strengthen your resolve, sharpen your skills, and align yourself with your purpose. Think of a seed planted in the ground. It spends days, weeks, or even months hidden from view, seemingly doing nothing. But beneath the surface, it is growing roots, establishing a foundation strong enough to support its eventual rise. Your journey is no different. While others see only stillness, you are quietly building the foundation for something extraordinary. The world often underestimates the power of silence because it values noise, activity, and outward signs of progress. But true strength is cultivated in the quiet. It is in those moments when you choose to keep going, despite the lack of recognition or support, that you prove your resilience. Silence forces you to confront yourself, to dig deep into the reserves of your strength, and to rely on a power greater than yourself. It is here, in the quiet, that your spirit grows unbreakable. This is not to say that silence is easy. Far from it. The world will try to convince you that your quiet perseverance is meaningless, that your stillness is failure. It will tempt you to respond, to defend yourself, or to seek validation from those who doubt you. But the greatest victories are not won by shouting louder than your critics. They are won by remaining steadfast in your purpose, letting your actions speak louder than any words ever could. David's stillness in the wilderness was not without its challenges. He could have taken shortcuts to claim the throne, but he chose to trust God's timing. He resisted the urge to act impulsively or to prove himself to those who doubted him. Instead, he let his character and faith speak for themselves. When the time came, David's rise was undeniable, and no amount of mockery or doubt could diminish his destiny. Your silence, too, will one day speak volumes. The same people who doubted you, underestimated you, or dismissed you will be forced to acknowledge the strength you cultivated in the quiet. They will see that your stillness was not weakness but wisdom, a period of preparation for the extraordinary life you were always meant to live. The truth is, silence is one of the most powerful tools you possess. It allows you to focus on what truly matters, free from the distractions of noise and criticism. It gives you the space to heal, to grow, and to align yourself with your purpose. And when the time comes, your rise will be unstoppable, not because you sought to prove others wrong, but because you stayed true to yourself and your calling. So, if you find yourself in a season of silence, do not despair. Embrace it as a sacred time of growth and transformation. Trust that the work you are doing in private will one day bear fruit in ways that will leave the world in awe. Let your silence be your strategy, your foundation, and your strength. Remember, you are not being forgotten or overlooked. You are being prepared. When the time comes, your silence will no longer be misunderstood. It will be recognized for what it truly was, a powerful, deliberate, and transformative act of faith and perseverance. And in that moment, the world will see what you've known all along, that stillness is not surrender. It is strategy, and it has made you unshakable. Part 3. The power of your comeback. There is nothing more transformative, more awe-inspiring than a comeback. A true comeback is not simply a return to where you were before. It is a rebirth, a powerful reckoning that transforms every ounce of pain, struggle, and defeat into the foundation for something extraordinary. A comeback isn't just about regaining lost ground. It's about rising higher than anyone, including yourself, ever thought possible. Your comeback is the culmination of every tear, every trial, and every whispered prayer that went unheard by the world but heard clearly by God. When you're in the depths of struggle, it's easy to believe the lies of defeat. It's tempting to listen to the voices that say you'll never recover, never rise, and never fulfill the dreams you hold close to your heart. Those voices may come from others, but often they come from within, your own doubts, fueled by fear and exhaustion. But the truth is this: your setback is not the end of your story. It is the foundation of your greatest chapter. Consider the story of Job, when his life fell apart, when he lost everything he held dear. Even his closest friends believed his story was over. They saw his suffering as permanent, his downfall as final. Yet Job held on to one truth: that God was not finished with him. Despite his pain, despite his questions and despair, he continued to trust in God's purpose. And when the time came, the Lord restored everything Job had lost, giving him twice as much as he had before. Job's comeback wasn't just about restoration. It was a testament to God's faithfulness and Job's resilience. Your comeback will be no different. The trials you've endured, the losses you've faced, and the pain you've carried are not without purpose. They are the raw materials from which your strength is forged. Every insult you've endured, every failure you've faced, and every moment of doubt has been preparing you for a future far greater than you can imagine. What makes a comeback so powerful is that it defies expectations. The people who mocked you, doubted you, or dismissed you never saw it coming. They thought your story was over, that their judgment was the final word. But what they failed to understand is that God always has the final say. Your struggles were not the end of the road. They were the beginning of a transformation so profound that it will leave those who doubted you speechless. A comeback is not about proving others wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you were right all along, that the fire within you, the purpose God placed in your heart, was real and unshakable. It's about rising above the noise of doubt and criticism and stepping into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. And when you do, the same people who doubted you will have no choice but to watch as you claim the victories they thought were impossible. Your comeback is built in silence, in the moments when no one is watching. It's in the late nights when you keep pushing forward despite your exhaustion. It's in the prayers whispered through tears, the small steps taken when giving up feels easier. These quiet victories, unseen by the world, are the building blocks of your rise. They are what make your comeback not just powerful but unstoppable. The world loves a dramatic comeback because it defies the narrative of defeat. It turns the pain and suffering that others expected to destroy you into the very foundation of your success. Think about Joseph. His brothers sold him into slavery, believing they had ended his dreams. Yet, the very act that was meant to bury him became the catalyst for his rise. Years later, Joseph stood as a ruler in Egypt, with the power to save his family during a famine. His comeback was not just about his personal victory. It was about fulfilling a purpose far greater than himself. Your story carries the same potential. The trials you've endured are not just for your growth. They are for the impact you will have on others. Your comeback will be a beacon of hope for those still in the midst of their struggles. It will show them that no matter how deep the valley, no matter how heavy the burden, there is always a path to rise again. The most powerful comebacks are not loud or boastful. They don't need to be. Your success will speak for itself. Every step forward, every achievement, and every moment of joy will be a testament to the strength you've built in silence. And those who doubted you, their words will fade into irrelevance as they witness the undeniable truth of your rise. It's important to remember that a comeback is not about revenge. It's not about tearing others down or proving them wrong. True victory is found in rising above the noise and focusing on your own growth and purpose. The people who doubted you may never admit their mistake, and that's okay. Their validation is not required for your success. What matters is that you know your worth, that you see the strength within yourself, and that you trust the process of becoming who you were always meant to be. As you continue on your journey, take a moment to reflect on how far you've already come. The fact that you're still standing, still fighting, and still moving forward is proof of your resilience. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a step closer to the extraordinary life waiting for you. And when the time comes, your comeback will be more than just a personal triumph. It will be a testimony to the power of faith, perseverance, and grace. Let your story be a reminder to others that no setback is final, no struggle is wasted, and no dream is too big. Your comeback is proof that God is always working behind the scenes, turning what was meant for harm into something good. The same people who mocked you will one day marvel at your strength, not because you sought their approval, but because you stayed true to yourself and your purpose. This is the power of a comeback. It transforms pain into purpose, doubt into determination, and loss into legacy. Your journey may not be easy, but it is worth every step. The world may not see your struggle, but they will see your rise. And when they do, they will know that nothing, not their words, their doubts, or their schemes, could stop what was meant to be. So, hold your head high and keep moving forward. The best is yet to come. Your comeback is on the horizon, and it will be a force so undeniable that it will leave an indelible mark on the world. Trust in the process, believe in your strength, and know that every trial you faced is leading you to a future brighter than you could have ever imagined. This is your time. Your comeback is here, and it's only just beginning. Part 4. Forgiveness. They don't deserve it, but you deserve peace. Forgiveness is one of the most challenging acts of the human spirit. It requires us to confront pain, betrayal, and heartbreak and release them into the void, trusting that the act of letting go will bring us peace. Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, nor does it mean excusing the actions of those who hurt us. It does not mean forgetting what happened or allowing those who wronged us to remain in our lives. Forgiveness is, instead, an act of liberation, freeing ourselves from the chains of anger, resentment, and bitterness that weigh heavily on our souls. When you've been mocked, betrayed, or abandoned, forgiveness feels almost impossible. The scars left by cruel words and thoughtless actions can linger for years, haunting your thoughts and shaping your perception of yourself. You replay their words, their laughter, and their betrayal over and over again in your mind, as though revisiting the pain will somehow change the outcome. But it doesn't. Instead, it keeps you tethered to the very people and moments that hurt you. Every time you cling to the anger, you allow their actions to continue controlling you. Forgiveness is the key to breaking that cycle. Jesus, even in his greatest moment of suffering, exemplified the power of forgiveness. As he hung on the cross, mocked and betrayed by those he had come to save, he uttered the words, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Luke 23 verse 34. He didn't excuse their actions. He didn't diminish the pain they caused, but he chose to release them from the hold their cruelty could have had on his spirit. In doing so, Jesus demonstrated that forgiveness is not about them. It's about you. It's about finding the strength to move forward without the weight of their actions dragging you down. Think about the people who have hurt you. Maybe they mocked your dreams, dismissed your struggles, or betrayed your trust. Maybe they never apologized, never admitted their wrongs. and never showed any sign of remorse. It feels unjust, doesn't it? The idea of forgiving them feels like letting them off the hook, as though they are being rewarded for their cruelty. But here's the truth. Forgiveness is not about them. It's about reclaiming your power, your peace, and your future. When you hold on to anger, you carry the burden of their actions with you everywhere you go. It's like dragging a heavy chain behind you, a chain forged by their cruelty but held in place by your refusal to let go. Each time you replay their betrayal in your mind, you strengthen those chains, allowing them to dictate your thoughts, emotions, and choices. But what if you chose to break free? What if, instead of holding on to the pain, you released it and stepped into the freedom of forgiveness? Forgiveness doesn't mean you have to reconcile with those who hurt you. It doesn't mean allowing them back into your life or pretending that their actions didn't leave a mark. Forgiveness means refusing to let their actions define your future. It means saying, "You no longer have power over me. Your words, your actions, they don't get to dictate my story anymore." In forgiving, you reclaim your narrative and take back the pen they tried to steal. Many people resist forgiveness because they confuse it with weakness. They fear that forgiving someone makes them vulnerable or allows the wrongdoer to escape accountability. But the opposite is true. Forgiveness is an act of strength, requiring courage and resilience. It says, "I am stronger than what you did to me. I am bigger than the pain you caused. I will not let your actions keep me bound any longer." Remember this. Forgiveness is not a gift to the person who hurt you. It is a gift to yourself. It frees your heart, clears your mind, and allows you to focus on the life you're building rather than the pain you've endured. Forgiveness allows you to move forward without the weight of anger holding you back. It is not about forgetting the past, but about refusing to let it control your present and future. Think of Joseph once again. His brothers betrayed him in the cruelest way imaginable, selling him into slavery and pretending he was dead. Years later, when he stood before them as a ruler of Egypt, he had every right to seek revenge. But Joseph chose a different path. He forgave them, not because they deserved it, but because he understood the bigger picture. What you meant for harm, Joseph told them, God intended for good. Joseph's forgiveness was not a sign of weakness. It was a testament to his strength and understanding of divine purpose. Forgiveness, however, is not instantaneous. It is a process, one that requires time, patience, and grace. It's okay to acknowledge the pain and to feel anger, disappointment, or sadness. These emotions are valid and necessary steps toward healing. But the goal is not to stay in those emotions. The goal is to move through them, to release them, and to find the peace that forgiveness brings. You might wonder if forgiving someone means they'll face no consequences for their actions. Rest assured, justice is not yours to deliver. It is God's. Do not take revenge, the Bible tells us, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, "It is mine to avenge. I will repay," says the Lord. The energy they poured into hurting you will come full circle. Life has a way of balancing the scales, and their actions will catch up to them, whether you witness it or not. Forgiveness doesn't absolve them of responsibility. It absolves you of the burden of carrying their actions with you. It allows you to focus on your growth, your healing, and your future. It liberates you from the cycle of resentment and empowers you to rise above the pain they caused. Forgiveness is not about erasing the past. It's about reclaiming your present and future. So, what will you choose? Will you continue to carry the weight of their betrayal, allowing it to define your emotions and decisions? Or will you choose to let go, to break free from the chains of anger and resentment, and step into the peace that forgiveness offers? The choice is yours, and the power lies within you. When you forgive, you rise above them. You take back control of your life and refuse to let their actions dictate your worth or your path. Forgiveness becomes the ultimate form of revenge, not because it harms them, but because it frees you. It allows you to move forward unburdened, to live a life filled with purpose and joy, untouched by their cruelty. Let this be your reminder. Forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. It's a declaration that you will not let their actions hold you back any longer. You deserve peace, freedom, and a future untainted by the pain of the past. Choose forgiveness, not because they deserve it, but because you do. You deserve to live free, to walk in peace, and to embrace the extraordinary life waiting for you. Part 5. Resilience is rewarded, not deceit. In a world that often seems to reward shortcuts, deceit, and manipulation, it's easy to feel disheartened when you see others getting ahead through dishonesty while you remain committed to your values. It may seem as though their cunning has earned them victories, while your integrity has left you behind. But let this truth sink in. The universe does not reward deceit. It rewards resilience. The path of honesty, perseverance, and faith may feel longer, but its rewards are deeper, more meaningful, and everlasting. The allure of shortcuts is undeniable. Those who cheat, lie, and manipulate often appear to have the upper hand, securing success faster and with less effort. Their victories, however, are fleeting, like a house built on sand. Their achievements crumble when tested by time and truth. They win in the short term, but their deceit creates cracks that inevitably grow into their downfall. Meanwhile, those who choose the harder, slower path of resilience are building something that will endure, the kind of success that cannot be taken away. The story of Haman in the book of Esther illustrates this perfectly. Haman's pride and deceit drove him to plot against Mordecai and the Jewish people. Convinced of his own superiority, he built gallows for Mordecai, fully expecting to revel in his enemy's downfall. Yet, in a dramatic turn of events, Haman's schemes backfired. The very gallows he built for Mordecai became the instrument of his own demise. His deceit, which he believed was his strength, became his greatest weakness. Life has a way of balancing the scales. What is built on deceit may rise quickly, but it will always fall. The foundation of lies cannot support lasting success. On the other hand, resilience, the ability to endure hardships, to stay true to your principles, and to keep moving forward even when the odds are stacked against you, creates a foundation that is unshakable. Those who choose resilience over deceit are building their success brick by brick, ensuring that it will withstand the storms of life. Resilience is not glamorous. It doesn't provide instant gratification or dramatic victories. It requires patience, perseverance, and a deep sense of purpose. It's about showing up every day, even when progress feels invisible. It's about continuing to do the right thing, even when it seems like no one is watching or appreciating your efforts. Resilience is quiet, steady, and unyielding, and that is what makes it so powerful. The Bible reminds us in Galatians, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." This verse is a beacon for those who feel overlooked, underappreciated, or tempted to compromise their values. It is a reminder that the rewards of resilience are not immediate but inevitable. Your perseverance, your honesty, and your faithfulness are not in vain. They are planting seeds that will one day grow into a harvest beyond anything you can imagine. Think about the setbacks you've faced, the moments when giving up felt like the easiest option. Each of those moments was an opportunity to build your resilience. Every time you chose to keep going, to maintain your integrity, and to trust in the process, you were strengthening the foundation of your future success. Resilience is not built in moments of ease. It is forged in the fire of adversity. It's what allows you to rise after every fall, to keep believing in yourself when others doubt you, and to stay true to your path when the world tempts you to stray. The world often overlooks the quiet strength of resilience because it is not flashy or attention-grabbing. Deceit may seem more effective in the short term because it creates the illusion of progress. But true success is not about appearances. It is about substance. While others may build castles on sand, you are laying the groundwork for something that will last, a life of purpose, integrity, and fulfillment. Resilience is also deeply tied to character. It is a reflection of who you are and what you stand for. When you refuse to compromise your values, even in the face of adversity, you are proving to yourself and the world that your principles are non-negotiable. This kind of strength cannot be faked, and it cannot be broken. It is what sets you apart from those who take shortcuts and rely on deceit. While their victories are hollow, Your success will be rich with meaning and grounded in truth. Think of the people you admire most, the ones who have truly left a mark on the world. Chances are, they are not the ones who cheated their way to the top or manipulated others for personal gain. They are the ones who persevered through challenges, stayed true to their values, and refused to give up, no matter how difficult the journey became. These are the people who inspire us, not because of their accomplishments alone, but because of the resilience and integrity they demonstrated along the way. Your resilience is your superpower. It is what allows you to rise above the noise of deceit, to outlast those who rely on manipulation, and to build a life that is unshakable. Every time you choose integrity over convenience, every time you keep going despite the odds, you are proving that resilience will always triumph in the end. It may take longer, and it may require more effort, but the rewards of resilience are worth the wait. So, if you ever feel tempted to abandon your principles in the face of adversity, remember this: the universe rewards resilience, not deceit. The path of integrity may be harder, but it is also more rewarding. It leads to a success that is not only lasting but also deeply fulfilling. And when you look back on your journey, you will be proud of the choices you made, knowing that you stayed true to yourself every step of the way. Resilience is not just about enduring challenges, it is about growing through them. It is about using every setback as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become stronger. It is about believing that no matter how difficult the journey, the destination is worth it. And when you finally reach that destination, you will know that every trial, every tear, and every moment of struggle was part of a greater plan. The rewards of resilience are not just material, they are spiritual and emotional. They are the peace that comes from knowing you stayed true to your values, the pride that comes from overcoming obstacles, and the joy that comes from achieving something meaningful. These rewards cannot be stolen, diminished, or undone. They are yours to keep, a testament to your strength and perseverance. Let this be your reminder: resilience will always outshine deceit. The world may not always recognize your efforts immediately, but the universe never forgets. Every act of integrity, every moment of perseverance, and every step forward is a seed planted for a future harvest. Trust in the process, stay true to your values, and know that your resilience will lead to a life that is not only successful but also deeply fulfilling. Part 6. Justice always finds its moment. Justice is one of life's most mysterious yet unshakable forces. It doesn't need fanfare, and it doesn't follow our timelines, but it always arrives. For anyone who has been wronged, betrayed, mocked, or dismissed, this truth can be both a comfort and a challenge. The challenge lies in resisting the urge to seek revenge, to take matters into your own hands, and to force justice on your terms. The comfort, however, is far greater. Justice does not forget, and when it comes, it is precise, unrelenting, and transformative. When you've endured cruelty or betrayal, it's natural to want to see those who wronged you pay for their actions. You may feel tempted to confront them, to expose their deceit, or to make them feel the pain they caused you. But justice is not yours to deliver. It belongs to a higher power. The Bible reminds us of this truth in Romans: "It is mine to avenge. I will repay, says the Lord." This is not just a call to patience, it's an invitation to freedom. By trusting justice to a higher power, you release yourself from the burden of retaliation and allow life to restore balance in its own time. Think about how often people believe they can escape the consequences of their actions. They lie, manipulate, and harm others, walking away as though their cruelty will never catch up to them. They may even celebrate their temporary victories, unaware that justice is already at work, weaving the threads of consequence. They may laugh at your pain, dismiss your struggle, or mock your silence, but justice does not overlook even the smallest act of harm. The universe operates with perfect balance. Every action, every word, and every choice carries weight. Those who sow cruelty will inevitably reap its consequences. Galatians reminds us, "Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows." The ledger of life always balances itself. Even if the scales take time to tip, justice may not arrive when we expect it. but it always arrives when it's most needed. Consider the stories of justice throughout history and scripture. Think of Haman, whose pride and cruelty led him to plot against Mordecai and the Jewish people. He believed his schemes would elevate him to glory, but his plans unraveled, and the very gallows he built for Mordecai became his own demise. Justice didn't need Haman's enemies to act. It worked silently, weaving the consequences of his actions into a reckoning he could not escape. Or think of Joseph's brothers, who sold him into slavery, believing they had erased him from their lives forever. Years later, they found themselves standing before Joseph, now a powerful ruler in Egypt. Their betrayal had not been forgotten, and justice brought them face to face with the man they had wronged. Yet, Joseph chose to extend forgiveness, not because justice failed, but because he understood its deeper purpose. What you meant for harm, God intended for good. Justice, in this case, didn't just punish, it transformed, bringing reconciliation and redemption. Justice is not always loud or dramatic. It doesn't always announce its arrival or demand an audience. Often, it works quietly, behind the scenes, preparing the stage for its inevitable revelation. Those who wronged you may continue on as though nothing will ever catch up to them. They may appear untouched by guilt or consequence, but justice is patient, and it never forgets, whether it comes in the form of lost opportunities, strained relationships, or the weight of their own conscience. Those who have caused harm will face the consequences of their actions. This doesn't mean you should wait with bated breath for their downfall. True justice is not about witnessing someone else's suffering. It's about restoring balance and setting things right. Holding on to anger or bitterness only keeps you tied to the pain they caused. Instead, focus on your own growth, healing, and purpose. Trust that justice will come, and allow yourself the freedom to move forward without carrying the weight of their betrayal. Perhaps you've already seen glimpses of justice in your life. Maybe you've noticed that those who wronged you are now facing their own struggles. Perhaps you've watched their success unravel or their actions catch up to them in unexpected ways. Or maybe justice has not yet made itself visible. That's okay, because justice doesn't operate on your schedule. It operates on divine timing. When the moment arrives, it will be undeniable, and it will bring a sense of closure that no act of revenge could ever achieve. It's important to remember that justice isn't just about punishment, it's also about restoration. It doesn't just expose wrongdoing, it uplifts those who have been wronged. While those who mocked and hurt you will face the consequences of their actions, you will also reap the rewards of your resilience, integrity, and faith. Justice will elevate you, turning your pain into purpose and your struggles into strength. The key to embracing justice is to let go of the need for control. You don't have to fight every battle or prove every point. You don't have to confront those who wronged you or seek their validation. Instead, trust that life, God, or the universe is working in your favor. Justice is already at work, and it doesn't require your intervention. Let go of the burden of revenge and focus on building the life you deserve. Forgiveness plays a crucial role in this process. By forgiving those who hurt you, you free yourself from the cycle of resentment and allow justice to take its course. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing their actions or letting them back into your life. It means refusing to let their actions control you any longer. It's about finding peace in the knowledge that justice will come, not because you demand it, but because it is inevitable. As you move forward, hold on to this truth. Justice always finds its moment. The pain you've endured, the struggles you've faced, and the wrongs you've suffered are not forgotten. They are part of a greater story, one that is still unfolding. Justice is not just about righting wrongs. It's about revealing truths, restoring balance, and bringing about transformation. Trust in its timing, and let it work in ways you cannot yet see. In the end, justice will speak louder than any act of revenge ever could. It will reveal the strength of your character, the depth of your resilience, and the undeniable power of truth. When justice arrives, you won't need to say a word. Their actions will be their own downfall, and your silence will speak volumes. So, let go of the burden, trust in the process, and know that justice is already at work. Its moment is coming, and when it does, it will be unstoppable. Part 7. Your existence exposes their lies. One of the most profound and empowering realizations in life is this: you don't need to fight against the lies others have told about you. You don't need to defend yourself, explain yourself, or prove yourself to anyone who has chosen to believe falsehoods. The simple fact that you continue to exist, to thrive, and to rise above their narratives is the most powerful rebuttal to their words. Your very existence, and the truth of who you are, will dismantle every lie spoken against you. People who spread lies about you often do so with a purpose: to diminish you, control how others perceive you, and ultimately undermine your potential. They hope their words will define you, casting you in a shadow of weakness or failure that aligns with their insecurities and fears. But what they fail to understand is that lies, no matter how persistent or loudly proclaimed, cannot erase the truth. Lies crumble under the weight of authenticity, and the truth of your existence becomes the force that dismantles their narrative. Consider the story of Joseph once again. After being sold into slavery by his brothers, they told their father a cruel and calculated lie: that Joseph was dead. They hoped to erase him from their lives and from any future he might have had. Yet, years later, Joseph stood before them, not as the broken boy they left behind, but as a man of immense power and purpose. His existence, his rise to greatness, exposed their deceit. The brothers who buried him in lies were forced to confront the undeniable truth of his triumph. Your story follows the same pattern. Those who lied about you, who tried to reduce you to a false version of yourself, didn't anticipate the strength within you. They underestimated your resilience and your capacity to rise above their attempts to diminish you. They believed their words could define you, but the truth of your life is now rewriting their narrative. Each day you wake up and continue to pursue your dreams. Each victory you achieve, and every step forward you take is a reminder that their lies hold no power over you. There's something deeply unsettling for those who perpetuate falsehoods about you when their lies are exposed. Not through confrontation, but through your success. They rely on silence, on the belief that their words will go unchallenged. But when you rise, when you thrive despite their efforts to hold you back, their lies become irrelevant. The reality of your progress, your strength, and your authenticity speaks louder than anything they could ever say. Why do people lie about others? Often, it stems from their own insecurities. They fear what they cannot control, and they feel threatened by what they cannot understand. Instead of confronting their own shortcomings, they project them onto you. It's easier for them to create a false narrative about you than to face the truth about themselves. Their lies are not a reflection of your character, but of their own fears and inadequacies. Jesus himself faced this in his hometown of Nazareth. Those who had known him as a carpenter's son dismissed him, saying, "Isn't this the carpenter's son? Isn't his mother Mary?" They could not reconcile the greatness of his purpose with the familiarity of his origins. Their disbelief and dismissal were rooted not in the truth of who Jesus was, but in their own inability to see beyond their assumptions. Similarly, the lies others tell about you often reveal more about them than about you. The beauty of truth is that it doesn't need to be shouted. It doesn't require arguments, confrontations, or validations. Truth has a quiet power. It stands firm, unwavering, and unshakable in the face of opposition. Over time, it emerges with undeniable clarity, exposing every falsehood for what it is. And your life, the way you live, the way you rise, and the way you persevere, is the ultimate testament to that truth. Your victories, no matter how small they may seem, are cracks in the foundation of their lies. Each step you take toward your goals, each act of kindness, and each display of strength is a blow to the falsehoods they tried to spread. Your existence, your authenticity, and your persistence make their lies irrelevant. They cannot erase you, and they cannot define you, no matter how hard they try. Have you noticed how quiet those who once mocked you have become? Their lies lose power when faced with the undeniable truth of your progress. They may try to shift their narrative, avoid accountability, or disappear entirely, but the truth remains. You don't need to fight them, argue with them, or seek their validation. Your actions speak for themselves, and your success silences their falsehoods far more effectively than any words ever could. This is your power. You don't need their approval, their understanding, or their acceptance to thrive. You are the author of your story, and their attempts to rewrite it were never valid. Every milestone you achieve, every goal you reach, and every joy you embrace is a testament to the truth of who you are. It's proof that their lies were never more than hollow words, unable to touch the depth of your character or the strength of your spirit. Forgiveness becomes an essential part of this process. By forgiving those who lied about you, you release yourself from the burden of their actions. You free yourself from the cycle of anger and resentment, allowing your energy to focus on your growth and your goals. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing their behavior or forgetting what they did. It means refusing to let their actions hold power over you any longer. It is an act of liberation, a declaration that your worth is not determined by their words. As you continue to rise, let your success be your response. Let your life be the evidence of their lies, the truth that exposes their falsehoods. You don't need to confront them or prove them wrong. Your existence is enough. Your achievements, your strength, and your perseverance speak volumes. They reveal the truth that their lies could never erase, that you are resilient, capable, and unstoppable. Let this be your reminder. Their words hold no power over you. Their lies are not your reality. You are defined not by their falsehoods, but by your truth. Every step you take forward, every victory you claim, and every moment you live authentically is a triumph over their attempts to diminish you. You are proof that the truth always prevails, that resilience outlasts deceit, and that no lie can ever define who you truly are. So, stand tall in your truth. Let your existence continue to expose their lies, not through confrontation, but through the undeniable power of your life. Their falsehoods are fading, their narratives unraveling, and your truth is shining brighter than ever. You don't need to fight them. You've already won. The rise of the unshakable. As we reach the end of this journey, let's pause and reflect on everything you've endured, everything you've overcome, and everything you've built in silence. The sting of mockery, the weight of betrayal, and the burden of doubt no longer define you. Instead, they have become the foundation upon which you are rising, stronger, wiser, and more unshakable than ever before. Each challenge you faced was not a setback but a setup for the extraordinary story you are now writing. Every insult, every tear, and every moment of silence was a tool shaping you into the person you were always meant to become. They mocked you because they didn't see your potential, underestimated your resilience, and feared the greatness within you. Yet, here you stand, proving that their doubts hold no power over your destiny. You've learned that the mockery of others can be transformed into fuel for your faith. You've discovered that silence is not weakness but strategy, a time for reflection and preparation. Your comeback has turned every loss into legacy and every pain into purpose. Through forgiveness, you've reclaimed your freedom, choosing peace over resentment. Your resilience has outlasted the deceit of others, proving that integrity and perseverance always prevail. And justice, whether visible or unseen, is quietly at work, restoring balance in ways that only time and divine purpose can deliver. The question is no longer whether you will rise, it's how high you will go. The tables have turned, the tides have shifted, and your time has come. The very people who doubted you, who tried to bury you with lies, insults, or neglect, will one day stand in awe of what you've built. But your rise is not about them, it's about you. It's about realizing that you never needed their approval or validation. It's about stepping fully into the truth of who you are and who you were always destined to be. As you move forward, let this truth anchor you. You are unshakable. No mockery, no betrayal, no storm can take from you what has been divinely placed within you. Your silence was never surrender. It was preparation. Your setbacks were never final. They were stepping stones. And your resilience was never weakness. It was your greatest strength. Now is the time to walk boldly into your future. The world may not yet understand the power of your rise, but it will. Your story is still unfolding, and the best chapters are yet to be written. Let every step you take be a testament to your courage, your faith, and your refusal to quit. You are unstoppable. You are unshakable. You are just getting started. Let your success speak louder than their doubts, your peace outshine their chaos, and your life become the undeniable proof that nothing, no mockery, no betrayal, no storm, can stop a determined heart and a divine purpose. So, rise, not for them, but for yourself, for the dreams you refuse to let go of, for the life you are building in silence, for the strength you carry within. Your story is far from over, and the world hasn't seen anything yet. This is your time. This is your rise, and it's only the beginning.